All right, the third matchup of the day is between NjaL and FuBaR. Welcome back. And you seem to be the most feared player in the tournament, but you seem so nice sitting here.
I have two sides.
one in-game and one privately.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You had one of the most intense games, of yesterday, especially the second game. You were in a tight spot and you fought back because you really wanted to live. You really wanted this.
Yeah, I think that's my strong side, like faking the loss, and then coming back.
So it's all tactics?
Yeah, it's all tactics. It's all mind games.
Of course. You know what you expect, FuBaR.
Thanks.
Let's have a look at your player facts. FuBaR first, and if you were an animal, you would be a gorilla. Okay, why?
Well, I don't know why, but that question came up a long time ago, and everyone had to pick an animal, and everybody thought that I would be a gorilla. So I think it's a little because I did MMA for a while, and I like to wrestle people. So I guess that's why.
Okay. And the name FuBaR is military, right? What does it actually mean?
Well, I don't know if I can use the swear version, but it's fouled up beyond all recognition.
Okay, thank you for that.
Usually another word with F.
Let's switch to NjaL.
Yes.
And your nickname comes from a story, right?
Yes, it's from an old Viking saga called NjaL Saga. And NjaL was the person who knew more laws than anyone else. And this was like the time before people could write in books. So he was the ultimate judge, I guess.
Everyone gets to tell about what gear they bring into this tournament. How important is that to you? What gear you use when you play?
I use the worst gear, so.
Okay, so not that important. Or is it important that it is the worst?
Oh, it's very important to use the same gear. Like you can't, if you switch your keyboard, it's like changing your arms. It's a body part, right?
Yeah, for sure. Before I started playing StarCraft, I didn't think that made a big difference. But nowadays, if I just want to play it in a LAN or go to an internet cafe with my friends, I have to bring my own gear or else I can't play.
And both of you guys play a lot of Dota 2, right? Dota 2?
Yeah, at least a lot of Dota 1.
Okay, so I must have read it wrong then. Let's just go to choosing maps so you can get on the stage and see for yourself.
Yeah.
All right, and here we have our two players ready to choose their maps. Do you have any thoughts on what will happen?
Well, personally, I'm hoping to see Steps of War chosen at least twice.
Steps of War being quite the old map, and let's see what our players pick as the first one. I am going to guess Cloud Kingdom. We've seen that
we'll see.
A lot.
The coin toss happened beforehand, you should mention.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who starts. We'll see.
Yeah, and first we'll get to see the vetoes, I believe.
Yep.
And
Daybreak is out.
That's an interesting choice.
NjaL doesn't want to play on Daybreak.
I did, and Ohana being
this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be really fun. Aklon Flats, oh my god.
So
Are we going to get to see my favorite map?
Well, is it going to happen? Cloud Kingdom gone as well.
I am so happy. Yeah, let's see which map is first.
We should mention that Suede made this map pool, and the ones that didn't make the cut is the only ones we've seen so far.
Yeah, and Toon Valley being the only WCS and quote-unquote normal map to go. New Planet S, that's my favorite map.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of New Planet S in Code S recently.
Yeah, and New Planet S and Belshir Vestige is a regular GSL map, and I believe that Kespa has New Planet S as their Pro League map.
Yes,
and it leads to really interesting gameplay. Recently we saw MVP getting knocked out of the GSL on that map.
Yeah, we should introduce ourselves now that we're here. Dream Duck and Mr. Bad Example is no more. Here we are. I'm Lucky Duck. And
I'm Suede.
And Suede, of course. And we're going to be covering the next two semifinals. Sorry, quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, we're not there yet.
And first we have NjaL
versus FuBaR, as we've seen.
Yeah, and I believe this is going to be really good. We've seen NjaL. he has played some extremely close matches. He played against a Protoss previously, and it was just back and forth.
Yeah, we saw the best game of last night, I would say, was NjaL versus Shoulder.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and NjaL came back from a 0-1, and, well...
He just swept it.
Yeah,
and his opponent, our dear Zerg player, FuBaR. And, I mean, he's been so stable. He played against Proxy Panda in the round of 16, and he looks convincingly just better in that match. So I believe he could possibly be our winner of this set, but we have a lot left to see. I haven't actually seen any of NjaL's TVC.
No, I haven't either. I've seen a lot of FuBaR, but NjaL, no, not anything.
Yeah, it could be quite interesting. I mean, I am a Zerg player, so I'm quite partial, but I would say that FuBaR is playing really, really stable and just flawless.
Yeah, I think...
He doesn't make mistakes.
It's going to be very interesting to see the semifinals, because we could see our own last two Zerg players facing off in the semifinals.
Yeah, second best
versus
of 3.
FuBaR.
But let's not forget that Millennium Madalisk actually has to get through Dash, the previous property player.
Yeah, and we spoke to him beforehand, and he seems confident.
Yeah.
But back to this game.
Yeah, our first map.
Yeah.
Entombed Valley. How do you feel?
Well, Entombed Valley, I like it, especially since they changed it. I don't know. Are we going to play on cross only, or
we are going to play on the standard ladder version?
And
by
like
that I mean there is no close by ground. It is cross map and it's close by air.
Well, okay.
So you can't spawn in the bottom together, and you can't spawn on the top together. Yeah. That's basically it.
Well, in that case, I'm okay with this map. I think it's a nice map, even though the middle is very pro-Zerg, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, having an open area is really important, especially if you go for something like Ling Faster. It just gives you so much more ground to cover, and it becomes so much easier. But at the same time, you can really set up a really long and nice siege line if you are that kind of player. And I mean, in Entombed Valley, you have 3 very easy expansions, and that is something we've seen a lot. I mean, players like Bomber, Startail Bomber, just going for the 3-base economy, and then just setting up his macro and just going for it.
Yeah,
relentless
this map
pushing.
Definitely favors greedy terrans.
Yeah.
You can make a very nice stand with the siege tanks.
Yeah, you have an awesome control.
And we're going into the game right now, actually. It's loading
FuBaR
up.
versus NjaL.
FuBaR versus NjaL. I have no idea how this is going to go, because FuBaR is an extremely strong player.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, NjaL did that amazing comeback yesterday.
Yeah, he is our king of comebacks this
so far.
This final event.
Yeah,
I mean, he has been so flawless. And let's get into the game.
Because it has loaded up.
Yeah. And our first player, playing in the red trunks at the top right. Give it up for FuBaR.
Yeah, FuBaR still looking mean as usual.
Yeah.
And then in the bottom right corner, in the blue color, we have our Terran player NjaL, who just now paused the game.
Yeah, it seems to be something. He is currently correcting his settings with his sensitivity, and that is, of course, allowed. And I believe we all know how annoying it is to play under those kind of conditions. I mean, if you can't move your mouse correctly, that's just not good. And let's resume the game.
Yes, we have resumed the game. So, if we're going to talk again about that amazing game yesterday that we saw NjaL do.
Yes.
He had, he had an amazing defense. Where both you and I were sure this game is over.
Yeah.
It was over 5 minutes ago. Come on, let's get on with it. And then somehow he came back from 13 SCVs versus 24 probes.
Yeah, I mean, both of us were just sitting there and thinking, this is over, this is far from comebackable, and he just did it. He just made it look so easy and so incredible. I mean, he just crushed him. The first map that NjaL played on, Cloud Kingdom, it looked kind of weird because he had a stim push with a lot of Marines and some Marauders, and he walked into 2 Colossi and Sentries, which force-fielded him into just this amazing sandwich.
Yeah, and Shoulder then just counter-pushed and won the game. It was fairly simple.
Yeah.
And the second game looked like it was going to go the exact same way, actually. Except the Shoulder was one doing the rushing.
Yeah.
But he was in there. He had cancelled the natural was gone. He had to pull workers over and over and over. He lost infrastructure, and then somehow he got rid of the Colossi, he got rid of the sentries, and then the Marauders just ate all those stalkers up, and he was able to push back.
Yeah, and back to this game, FuBaR is very smart and scouting cross-map at first. This is generally a good thing, because if you touch the Selnaga tower, you generally get a feel if there are any proxies in the near perimeter.
Yeah, but the Overlord at the same time got to look at that barracks, so he does know where NjaL has spawned.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily needed for him to go with the drone scout right now. He can just spot this CC that is going to come down from NjaL any second, and there it is.
Yeah.
And right now we have a 15 hatch from FuBaR, and everything looks quite standard. He is going for that early gas, as we saw in the previous games yesterday, and he really favors that early link speed.
Yeah, he does it all the time. Of course, the fast links is a very nice way to get your map control early. And, well, he favors it. Perhaps. Oh, is this Marine going to get it for Overlord? No.
I believe that it has the possibility, but as soon as FuBaR, there he goes. He goes into the corner and into the abyss underneath him, so the Marine can't reach him.
Yeah, nice save on the Overlord.
Yeah, and this is generally just a good thing to do. You don't want to lose an Overlord this early. I mean, a supply block at this stage, when you try to get up your macro, is so important. You have to save everything you have, and you have to use that to your advantage.
Yeah, over on NjaL's side of the map, removing that supply depot is quite a standard move for good players nowadays, so you have total control of your base and can build wherever you want to.
Yeah, and he's going for the double gas. This is for a factory follow-up, and I believe we are going into double helium production. And this is quite standard. It's generally a good thing to put pressure on the Zerg with helions. It gives you map control, and it gives you the control to be able to keep the creep back. And on such a map as Entombed Valley, or generally any map, it's really, really important to just make sure the creep spread is minimalized.
FuBaR is taking his third base rather early, and at the same time he has spread his Overlord. He is spreading his Overlord very nicely along the edge of the map. I think he might be fearing some drop play, trying to be on the... well, be prepared.
Yeah, he has excellent coverage over this minimap, and I mean, drop play is something that can catch a lot of people off guard.
Yeah.
And I know that it's really taxing on your APM to handle drops, so just this Overlord spread is something really, really simple that can prevent so many hard situations.
Absolutely. We see NjaL building those double helions right away, as you spoke of. But very shortly go back to the drop play. Of course, it can be used as harassment, but I feel the more important part is splitting up, drawing an enemy apart, forcing him to deal with the enemies on multiple locations, and then pushing a big army in the middle.
Yeah. Yes. And right now we see NjaL preparing for his Hellion Banshee push.
FuBaR has seen the Banshees, though.
Yeah.
He has not seen the... not believe he has seen the starport. Yes, he has. He has seen the empty tech lab, so he's probably going to be prepared for this.
Yeah, he just lost a link to those two Hellions in the middle of the map, and our Banshee production has just started, and I believe we are going to have Cloak. No, he's switching directly into siege tanks. This is really good, because he'll have early siege tank to counter any kind of mass link flood, and this is just generally a good idea if you want to play safe and play the macro game.
NjaL found Queen out in the middle of the map, but of course you need about 6 Hellions to effectively take out the Queen.
And he might lose these Hellions, these links, if he's not careful.
A lot of links, a lot of Hellions. Of course, in the wrong angle, those Zerglings is just going to die right away against those Hellions. I like this double evolution chamber to wall in the natural.
Yeah, his double evo. This is a great location to put your evos, because if you're going to put down some buildings, why not make a wall? Since city is really, really important, especially as a Zerg player. If some Hellions get in, I mean, your entire mineral line gets vaporized.
Yeah.
And he's setting up really nicely with spore crawlers in every base. Yeah. And he's really preparing for a more heavy Banshee play. But we've actually just going to have 2 on the field, as we can see right now. There's 1 on the way, and there's 1 on the field. And we have no Cloak, and he's not committing into this. We have not siege mode yet. So the follow-up isn't finished. but I mean, he is setting up really nicely for everything.
Yeah, NjaL only produced 4 Hellions and denied some creep spread. He's not overcommitting. He's not going to go trade Hellions for drones at this moment. He feels that FuBaR is too well protected with all those links. But I like it. He denied the creep tumors and... well, FuBaR is behind on the creep spread from where he would like to be.
Yeah.
Also, he went straight into a tank from that point, and he's also upgrading his infantry armor. So it looks, I would guess, that we're going to see the rather standard tank marine medevac from NjaL at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and here we have some banshees harassing
that
at
queen
the
is gonna go down. No, he saves the queen.
And
Very
the
nice.
queen actually survives. This is really good for FuBaR. And, I mean, FuBaR is preparing for bio, but he has only scouted out 1 extra barracks, I believe. Yes, he has. So this is quite an interesting option based on the scouting he has. I mean, he hasn't scouted extra Hellions, so that's always a giveaway. And his Baneling Nest just finished, and his Spire is halfway done.
So, it looks like FuBaR is going Mutaling Bling. From what we're seeing here.
Yeah,
at the same time, NjaL has taken his 3rd expansion already at 10 minutes. I like it. It's a good economic build, but it's not too greedy.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that FuBaR hasn't focused more on his upgrades. He got those 2 Evo Chambers really early to wall off against Hellions, but he hasn't used them any. And, I mean, NjaL is just bursting ahead in upgrades. His 1-1 is soon to be finished. I mean, we have plus attack already finished.
Yeah, and he has armor on the way, so he's going to go straight into 2-2.
As soon as that armor is done, he's just going to get right into 2-2. But we have 10 mutas.
Yeah, FuBaR just started upgrades for his ground as well as for the mutas. 12 mutas on the way now. So he's probably going to go a bit... I'm losing all my words at the same time. Someone hand me a dictionary, I need some new ones. He's gonna go harass, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and there aren't many turrets set up, actually. We have a good coverage with, like, depots in the natural. And I don't know if NjaL is going to be able to handle this good. I mean, he has Stim on the way, that's always a good thing. And he has a bunch of Marines, but does he have a multitask to just spread them out correctly?
So far, quite passive play from both players.
He has revealed the mutas right now with attacking the Hellions on the Watchtower, and we have 4 missile turrets just finishing up.
Yeah, so NjaL was smelling it even though he hadn't seen it actually. FuBaR is taking his 5th base at the same time. All the Hellions have been killed. I don't know if he's making any more.
Oh, has to be really careful not to fly them into Stim Marines. Stim is just a couple of seconds from finishing. And, I mean, this is really scary if FuBaR if he is decided to just go into the natural, as we see right now, and runs into a bunch of Marines. That's really dangerous, especially if he is committing.
NjaL double stimmed by mistake on those Marines, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so
that's always something. Forcing a stim is like missing a storm.
These are a lot of mutalisks, 23 mutalisks, and can do a lot of damage.
Oh my god.
Of course, if they're left without attendance in a mineral line, the workers are just going to disappear.
And remember, these mutas actually has +1 finishing any second right now, and it could be really devastating if they're left untaken care of.
There were 2 free supply depots, and then it goes away. So,
yeah.
Of course, not that big of a deal right now, but in the long run, a really big deal, just as it doesn't lose these...
Oh, and FuBaR picks off 1, 2
medevacs.
medevacs. And this is huge. Those medevacs have had quite the energy cap on them, and this is just...
And NjaL is stimming and running around here. He's going to lose... He isn't going to have enough energy on this, the medevacs remaining.
And behind this we have...
Oh, and even more medevacs going down. 1, 2. 2 more medevacs for free.
He has lost 4 medevacs just for free against these mutas.
FuBaR is picking apart this army slowly but surely.
And behind this we have Hive underway for FuBaR. We have Ling production. We have +2 attack. He hasn't started.
He's maxed out.
Yeah.
He's maxed out and is, 40 supply ahead. He managed to cancel that building's command center. Oh, and now he's going to run away.
Yeah, he didn't lose the muta.
He still has 23 mutas, and now he has 26 Banelings on the way.
Yeah, and they all have Baneling speed, remember that. And, I mean, as we mentioned before, it's really ordinary that Terran just goes for this free base macro and then just pushes. But with the multitasking that
he
FuBaR
has
done,
44 Banelings. And
and he just sieges up, and this could be really devastating.
There's so many Banelings and no splitting from NjaL. There's some splitting, but it doesn't matter because so many Banelings. Just keep rolling in. All that army, a whole army from NjaL just wiped out right away. Of course, Banelings on free, but still,
NjaL just
FuBaR
went
is
down
miles
so
ahead
far
right now. He's down 70 supply versus FuBaR at this moment.
Yeah, and right here we see FuBaR just macroing behind it. 14 drones just finished. And, I mean, he's playing this flawlessly. I believe he's going to get the pathogen glands upgrade if he wants to transition. But as it looks right now, he can just push in if he is unafraid against siege tanks.
Yeah, if we have a look at the harvester count of 90 harvesters for FuBaR, a little bit much I feel, but still he's gonna rake in the money versus NjaL's.
Yeah, he has such a powerful economy.
And he now has so many units he can go in and snipe out these turrets, take a few SCVs, and they'll go right into the main. And no turrets in the main. There's one turret over here, but it isn't going to do anything. He's taking out the reactors and, well, anything he can, and then he has to go down again.
Yeah, and this is just really pressuring on to our dear Terran player NjaL, and in that attack with his mutas, he actually killed 5 workers.
Yeah. FuBaR is taking another expansion while the Mutalisks are still...
you don't want to engage there. He just lost, I believe it was 3 Mutalisks for almost free. I mean, engaging in that kind of a battle is never good. Oh, and we see something I love. Baneling mines exactly out of the reach of the sensor tower.
Oh, on both sides.
So, and this could be really good.
I would love to see NjaL move out with a lot of Marines and just
This is something that is so underused by the Zerg. I mean, if you have Burrow in your arsenal, and you have these little landmines, this could be golden. You can take out so many Marines with this move. Yeah. And we see NjaL actually finishing up his 4th and 5th command center and lifting it off, and he's probably just going to construct a planetary fortress there. And he could get into the 3rd, but no, he has no...
he does get in, but he's not going to get a lot done. Some SCVs, but in the long run, he has already taken out some SCVs at this moment. What matters, however, is that FuBaR is maxed and is building a bank up to 5 grand minerals.
Yeah, and he's producing corruptors right now as we speak, so he's
going into Broodlord.
Our Broodlords are underway. The Greater Spire is done, and I mean, he has forgotten a little bit about his melee upgrades on the ground. So we have +1 carapace and +2 melee. So these Broodlings aren't going to be that strong, but he's so far ahead. And here we go. He could actually manage to get a cancel.
Oh, so many Banelings dying. They will come in on the line and just dying right away.
Oh, and please scan, please scan.
There's mines.
So many Marines.
But not that many, actually. If there was Marines, but it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
He is burying more Marines everywhere. And now NjaL knows that he's going for Baneling mines. So he should be able to scan. At least some places.
I mean, when you scout out that a Zerg player is using Baneling mines, you have to be really cautious with your army.
Ooh, and a lot of Mutalisks.
He's taking so many free hits from these 4s, and
I think he's actually...
This is the end for Mutas, unfortunately.
Yeah, but he's cleaning up the supply for the Broodlords.
Yeah, he's getting extra corruptors.
A big Marine ball moving up out of the creeper.
And he doesn't have the infestors to... with the Broodlords, so these Marines are just going to stem forward and take out these Broodlords, and this is so dangerous for FuBaR.
He has lost a ton of resources. Actually, he's now lost a lot more.
They are now equal in supply.
He's lost 17,000 versus 13,000 on NjaL's side.
And here are the infestors, but little too late, and FuBaR is plummeting in supply right now. He has lost 20 over a couple of seconds. And, I mean, this is really close. His bank in mineral is great, but he has no gas.
NjaL has been able to take out that 5th base from FuBaR at the same time. But of course his bio is at 3-3, while the bio from FuBaR is only at 1-2.
Those 4s are so good right now. One of them has 21 kills, 17 kills and 12 kills, and they are still alive, so this is just such
what's winning the game for NjaL right now, actually.
Yeah. I mean, earlier in this game, FuBaR had the advantage in macro, but he chose to spend it unwisely. He went for the Broodlords without the coverage of the infestors.
And he's wasting Banelings on Thor's siege tanks at the moment. I don't believe it. And his FuBaR forced full drones. And NjaL does it again! He comes back from an impossible position.
He looks
again.
so comfortable with this, and
you can tell he's rather pleased with that win.
yeah, I would have been too if I've seen FuBaR's play earlier, and this was just impeccable by NjaL, and this was so good. It was such a good map. I believe we saw FuBaR having great multitask, and then just NjaL pushing out and killing him.
I think he stuck on the mutilus a bit too long.
Yeah, it was a lot of investment, a lot of gas into those mutas. And I mean, it is a good investment as long as you make it worthwhile. He didn't kill enough workers. And I mean, we took a look when he went into the main and killed reactors and add-ons, and that's great. But when he poked out of there, he had only killed 5 workers. And when you invest so heavily into mutas, you really need to disrupt more than just the macro. You need to take out the economy of a Terran player.
But I don't know. He harassed great, I felt.
Yeah.
And, but of course, I strongly believe that the upgrades was what won NjaL that game.
Yeah.
3-3 Marines just ripped through everything.
Yeah, and the Force having +2. I mean, it just says the story. And right now we are going into game number 2 between NjaL and FuBaR
on which map is this going to be?
Kespa's Neoplanet S.
Finally you get your Kespa planet.
Yeah, I mean, being the creator of a map pool gives me a lot of power. And, I mean, this is a balanced map as well as a really good one. And let's get into the Neoplanet S match between our blue Terran player, currently up 1-0. Give it up for NjaL.
Yeah, there is. I've seen a lot of creep in this map. But on the other hand, the creep is going to come from someone, and that someone is a red Zerg player in the lower left corner. His name is FuBaR.
Yeah, and I mean, NjaL played so good that last game. He could have handled the mutas better. But, I mean, in the end, if you have enough stuff to go kill your opponent, you just do it. And that was what he did. I mean, he had the upgrades, he had the Marines, he had the production. Why not just go and do it? And he did it. And he made it look so easy.
Yeah, I agree.
FuBaR couldn't have done anything against that push. He could have gotten out Infestors more early and could have tried to fungal down the Marines instead of letting them stem forward. And that was just the main mistake, I feel, that costed him the game.
Yeah, what differs this map from Entomb Valley, as we saw, is the third base is really a lot harder to secure here.
Yeah.
So a turtling style, as NjaL did the last, as we saw, is not going to work as well on this map.
Yeah, I mean, if we take a look at the map, we see FuBaR's drone working us up through the section that is his part of the map, and he just went by his 4th base. In the middle, we have a low area with 2 gold bases, and and he's going to scout this proxy racks.
Yeah,
and
it's not very proxy. It's sort of proxy, but
sort of proxy.
Yeah, it could be proxier.
Yeah, and he's going to intercept this, and this is just going to force cancel.
Oh, cancel. Well, not the greatest start from NjaL there. Was forced to cancel a barracks so early.
Yeah, and FuBaR reacting to this like he always does, doing an extractor before pull, and that just sets him far ahead in the map control department.
Yeah, he's going to have that link speed up very soon. But as I was talking about earlier, I've seen a lot of Korean players go very heavy on the creep spread on this map.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 avenues, on the top and on the bottom, in these positions.
Yeah, you have a middle avenue, which connects into the middle of the map, and then you have the back alley that comes from the 3rd and goes on the farther side, and it leads to the 4th of your opponent. And I mean, it leads to really interesting gameplay, and I feel that siege tanks are magical on this map.
Siege tanks are great.
If you have a long siege line, it could just devastate your opponent if they get into an engagement without knowing what happened.
So NjaL is going out of that failed 2 racks into a 1 racks expand instead.
Yeah.
And, well, he's just started it at the same time as 2 queens going out from FuBaR. So far he's doing the exact same build as last game.
Yeah, and he actually stopped mining gas after getting that first 100. So this means that he only wants link speed for now and just wants to get that map control and be aware of what's out on the map. If he sees Hellions, he could just intercept them with speedlinks. Speedlinks being a great alternative if you have good creep spread, and it becomes a lot easier to hunt down those Hellions when you have speed on your Zerglings instead of just slow links.
So, Suede, gold minerals,
yes.
yay or nay?
I believe that they are a nice addition. I don't believe in gold bases, though. I have.
you like,
I had
you like those
another
that has 2 gold
I
spots just.
have. When I created the map pool, I had a lot of thinking to do, and I was a little bit unsure whether to have Ohana in the map pool. I feel that that map has already played so many games. Even though the map actually plays out really good, especially in Surga vs. Terran, but had another option. It was GSL Icarus. Icarus having a natural expansion that has 2 gold minerals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a GSL map. It's currently being used in this season, and it gives a lot of entertaining gameplay. We actually see a lot of players just worker microing, and that is something that hasn't been prioritized earlier, and I find it quite entertaining.
Yeah, I like the gold minerals. I feel it's an extra strategic, variable.
Yeah,
to
and here we
consider.
see FuBaR getting a little bit more ahead in the supply and placing down that 3rd base, and his creep spread is currently not that worked up, but as soon as he is going to saturate that 3rd, I feel that he has to.
Yeah, he already has 3 queens out, so he's gonna do that creep spread.
He has to emphasize that creep spread much more.
Yeah, if he's gonna,
and
if
he
he's gonna be
almost
able to
took out
hold
a
on to the
mule
3rd.
at NjaL's base.
He did. Oh, the Ling, yeah.
Really, really good. I mean, doing much with little is something that is extremely important, and it is something that StarTale Life has done quite a lot. Oh, and we have the pre-igniter on the way for the Hellions.
Oh,
so
Blue
we are
Flame
going to save
Hellions.
Blue Flame here.
Blue Flame Hellions, and he is planting down his 3rd command center in his main at the same time. He's also walling up his natural quite a lot, but at the same time we have a force moving out from FuBaR. A lot of links going in.
And these are actually going to hit before the first Hellions. No,
the Hellions are open, and they got a very nice first shot. So he's evacuating the natural. I think a good choice. He's trying to defend his bunker, and he has enough Hellions here. So very nice hold.
This went forward quite easily, and I believe that he didn't lose that many workers. He only lost 3.
3 workers lost altogether. Yeah, so not worth it from FuBaR.
Yeah, he invested so many minerals in that, and that was just a waste of larva, especially, and minerals.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to remember that the Zerg macro is based on larva and injects, and Ling is a very mineral efficient unit, but it is a larva inefficient unit.
Yeah.
You have to use so many larva when you produce so many Lings, especially, I mean, if you want to counter Hellions.
Yeah, so NjaL's going very much heavier on the Hellions this game, last game. And the Blue Flame is done. He's going to lose some Hellions here, but going to be a lot of damage to the lanes at the same time.
Yeah, and we see
all lanes taken out.
Actually putting down
Huge micro on the Hellions as well.
FuBaR putting down the Roach Warren immediately and getting down a Baneling Nest as well, and he knows he needs to do something against this. He can't just let Blue Flame running the map, and
NjaL wasn't able to get a single drone kill. He's going to get some at the 3rd, but since FuBaR evacuated the 3rd as soon as he saw the Blue Flame Hellions coming down, there's not that much done here.
FuBaR has actually blindly expected Banshees. We see a Spore in each base, and we actually don't have a starport in any base right now, and we have 4 factories.
Double armoring.
Yeah.
Going mech for sure.
Yeah, and we have Mutas on the way. This could be quite something if NjaL hasn't gotten out any force or missile turrets early. Mutas can do so much damage.
Yeah, it's quite common to see players overcommit to Hellion and Siege Tank.
Yeah, and if you do that and you have no anti-air, you're just dead when the Mutas pop into your base because you have no anti-air and you can't get up the production to be efficient with forwarding the Mutas.
The upgrade for the Thors and Siege Tanks, the Hellions are coming up right now. I do believe that an unupgraded Thor need 7 unupgraded Roaches to take it down. But with upgrades, of course, it's going to be very hard unless you get something. Oh, well, a lot of Roaches going.
Yeah.
Also, of course, the positioning is so important in mech play because Siege Tank in the Siege mode.
Yeah, and here we have the Hellions trying to get into FuBaR's natural, and I mean...
He's not going to risk it, he's going to the 3rd instead.
Yeah, and that's really, really clever, and there's actually nothing here to take out those Hellions, and this could be really, really devastating for FuBaR. And he needs to split up his workers, and he is doing that. But
very nice.
There's so many Hellions.
Oh, so many drones are going to drones.
Yeah, and I mean,
there's nothing you can do about it.
There have been 14 drones killed, and there are more to die. And
it makes it 8, 9, 20 drones lost so far to the Hellions. So that was very much worth it. It takes FuBaR down to 43 harvesters versus 57. Of course, that's not counting the mules.
Yeah, and we have right now 13 Mutalisks on the field, and they are going to chase away these Hellions. And I believe that he's just going to have to drone up that expansion again.
Yeah, but those Mutalisks is probably going to do a lot of damage here because I don't see any anti-air.
His supply blocked, and his fort can't be constructed. This is huge for FuBaR.
And he doesn't have an engineering bay, so he can't build turrets.
Oh, this is exactly what we spoke of earlier.
There's no anti-air, and he has one barracks that can build unupgraded marines.
There are 3 forts on the way, but they are so late, and he's going to kill...
First one's going to pop out right now, but
he's going to kill so many workers.
But at the same time, the Hellions are taking out even more drones down at the south end of the map. He's taking out 34 so far, while 22 on the FuBaR side. So it's a harvester war at this time.
Yeah, and we see actually a lot of roaches in the production tab, so I believe he is going to be able to hold against this push from NjaL, but I have no idea how he's going to be stabilized on the home front.
So it's basically a base race at this moment.
No, I believe that FuBaR can push away this force outside his natural.
Yeah, he can.
There's no anti-air, and there are 3 mutas here.
And the siege tank fell. There are 2 more, however. So he can take on the roaches, but then what? The nucleus is ripping apart, as they are doing at his home.
Yeah,
and he still haven't gotten any turrets up in his main.
There are so many workers being killed in this game. We have 74 workers in total having been killed, and the number is just getting higher and higher.
NjaL is down to only 25 workers. His third is fairly safe, but his main and his natural cannot be defended.
He's currently the half supply of FuBaR, and FuBaR is looking to go on a victory march with these roaches.
It certainly looks like it from where we're standing right now. The roaches are moving out across the map, but they changed their mind. Okay. The Mutalisks are going in once again, and he's stopping him from constructing more factories.
There are actually no siege tanks in this composition that NjaL has right now.
He had them, but they died.
Yeah, but currently there are no siege tanks on the field, so when these roaches arrive, I don't think that there is anything that he can do.
No, he has 1 Thor, 2 Thors now, 11 Hellions and 4 Marines at this moment.
Yeah, but there's more than 14 roaches, so I don't think that this is good for NjaL.
No, it certainly is not. Those Hellions do a lot of damage.
And he's taking a lot of free shot, and there the first Thor goes down.
No, he doesn't kill the Thor.
That was quite the mistake. I mean, taking a lot of free shots. And those roaches don't have glial reconstitution, so they are so slow. And they are unupgraded otherwise as well.
NjaL is going up against third instead. He knows that, FuBaR. NjaL can't defend the third at the same time.
And he's evacuating with the SCV's incredibly smart decision.
Hellion is going to fall, but Thor is here now. But the Mutalisks is going to put this in the Zerg's favor.
Yeah, and he moves out with the other things. And I don't know if this was such a good idea to meet out the Roach army in the open.
It's so close in the battles all the time. That mech army is very powerful, even with 1-1, because FuBaR has 0-0 roaches.
And remember, behind this, FuBaR has a fully operational free base economy, and he has +1 for missile, and he has +1 carapace on the way, and he has
is
burrow
currently
on the way.
mining from 1 base, and only with some SCVs, so this is not looking good at this moment. But on the other hand, that mech army is still so strong.
Yeah, and I don't know how NjaL is actually going to be able to take a fourth with this. He is just going to try to stabilize on free bases, and when he gets up into an efficient 4 and siege tank count, I believe he's going to try to take a fourth. He can't really do a death push with this army.
Yeah, but will he have time? Because the roaches are massing up outside his base. Some are looking to move into the third at this moment.
That is a really good question, and I believe that here we go, and FuBaR just trying to get into the siege
more
tanks.
roaches coming in from the south. Very nice flank.
This is so important for FuBaR.
I think he's going to be able to push this away, but he's losing so much of his army system and so few units.
Yeah, I mean, he has put down siege tank numbers too, and this is what he wants to do. If there are no siege tanks, and he's going into the third and killing more workers.
Yeah, he's up to 48, 50 now. Worker kills so far, 51. He's just desecrating the mineral lines of NjaL. He's down 26 workers versus 62.
Yeah, and I mean, he is trading inefficiently right now, but he has the economy to do it. And I believe that we're just going to see relentless pressure from FuBaR right now until NjaL decides to GG.
Yeah, he's constantly hitting 2 locations once as well, since he has superior numbers. But he doesn't care that he's losing some roaches in the time.
Oh, and we see some cute burrow micro in the natural of NjaL. This is something that is also extremely underused. I mean, given that the roaches have a great recovery under the ground. Those roaches were in the red before they went underground.
NjaL just cleaned out the main, but some more roaches are moving to the third.
And they are burrowing.
They're burrowing, but a scan and with a repair on that sword, I do think those roaches are going to have to go home.
Yeah, but if we take a look at the supply tab, FuBaR is actually 100 supply ahead of NjaL, and I don't know what is going to happen right now. NjaL has no SCV production, and he is not trading efficiently.
Yeah, it looks like NjaL is trying to mass up a certain number of, well, as many mech units as can, and then just push and try to win in one go. And that is his only option from there, I feel, because he has no economy compared to FuBaR.
Yeah, and FuBaR is just continuously burying roaches everywhere, forcing out scans instead of mules. And
yeah,
that
and
is
down
the last...
to 17 SCVs.
Yeah, and, I mean, scanning is the last thing you want to do in NjaL's position right now. You want to use every single energy that you have on your command centers on SCVs, and here we have FuBaR taking out the mules in the main of NjaL.
Yeah, he's not letting him build up an economy. He's doing it very smart, I feel.
Yeah, and behind this, FuBaR is getting his hive up. He's getting +2 carapace, and he's spiking it up. And he's just playing so stable, as we saw from last night. And if we take a look at the natural of NjaL, he actually started attacking the bunker. And when it started to get on fire, he just burned his roach.
Yeah.
And here we see the death push.
Oh, and he's building a lot of supply for defense at home in his third. But NjaL is getting some drone skill here.
Oh, and in the third of NjaL, we have the huge roach army that FuBaR is in command of.
This is going to rip apart the infrastructure of NjaL, because all of his army is down at the south end, currently attacking versus FuBaR. He's pulling back from the siege tanks very smartly.
Yeah, and FuBaR actually has the army at home being able to defend against this, and this is going to be the most incredible army sandwich I have ever seen.
He has
probably.
a 120 versus 61 army advantage.
And here we go, he's attacking into the front, and he's coming in from the back, and this is just going to be horrendous. The front army gets attacked, and this is the end.
That's a round, actually.
I believe that is more than 7 roaches for each form.
So, he's evened it out. Looking very happy about that.
Yeah, and
I understand him.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken out NjaL now with 1 game left, and the last game is going to play it on what map?
I do not remember.
Belshir Vestige.
Belshir it is. So, we keep getting better and better games the longer we go into this tournament.
This is really impressive. I mean, I wasn't prepared for these kinds of games.
No.
I mean, we are UniSL.
And we're hoping for them.
Yeah, and we are all about casual gaming. And this is a whole other level. I'm really impressed with our players today.
Yeah, if this keeps going the way it's going, I can't imagine what we're going to see in the finals tonight.
Yeah. I mean, these 2 players are both capable of getting far ahead the semifinals. And, I mean, this is just so good. And, by the way, hashtag UniSL on Twitter.
Yeah, get everyone in here. Get everyone watching. Or come down. We're at Tekniska Högskolan in Stockholm.
Yeah, at Nimble. And I am Essie Suede, and your Twitter is...
My Twitter is Degbox.
Degbox.
Of course, come down here, have a beer, watch the StarCraft, talk with nice people.
Yeah, it's really nice, and we're all about hanging out. And let's get into the third and final game of this best of 3.
Yes.
And in the bottom right, the Terran, the comeback king. Give it up for NjaL.
NjaL, who's looking determined once again. And in the upper left corner, wearing red, we have FuBaR.
Yeah. And, I mean, I believe that NjaL is the only player here that is currently studying in another school than KTH and Stockholm University.
Quite possibly. I'm not sure at this moment.
For those who are unaware or didn't pay attention to his player card, he is studying for Södertörn Royal Institute or
Södertörns högskola.
Södertörns college or something.
Sure, let's call it college.
We actually don't have the greatest vocabulary for Swedish word in English, but nevertheless.
But if we're going to talk about this game a bit,
yeah,
this map, I like. It looks a lot like Ohana.
Yeah, I mean it is a good switch up since we have seen a lot of games played on Ohana and Daybreak and Cloud Kingdom and so on, and all of these maps were actually vetoed out, and this leaves the GSL map, Bell's Sheer Vestige, and I really love this map. It has a nice architecture to it. The third is located farther from the natural, so it is harder to take, but it's still a very good map if you want to play a more static game. You want to be in your base, you want to macro up, and when you have your economy set up, you want to start getting out those power armies.
Do you remember this map that was popular a year ago, or more, 2 years ago perhaps, that had the one half had a tile set of Char, and the other had Forest?
Dual site.
Dual site, right. This looks to me very much like a crossover between Ohana and Dual site.
I could agree with that, actually. I mean, if we were to land the map vertically, or horizontally, I believe, we could just see something similar. I mean, in dual site, we had the player spawning on the far left and the far right, and this is more of a top and bottom position.
Yeah.
But
the expansion possibilities...
the tile set switched out.
Yeah.
I could totally understand where you're coming from.
Because the expansion possibilities is the same, but on top instead, vertically instead of horizontally.
Yeah, I mean, the map that I think of is a switch up between Ohana and Korhal Compound, with the maps in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, I mean, we have rocks here in the middle between the watchtowers for an army highway. It's especially something that Zerg players and Terran players want to think about when they reach the mid to late game. Because of how Warpgate acts, you don't really have to care about how your army gets to a location. You can just warp in with your pylon or warp prism. But you have to move with your Terran and Zerg things. So, I mean, breaking down these rocks when you decide that you want to do a massive push, it's really important.
Yeah. We've seen both players going the same openings as last time.
All things pretty standard.
Yeah, so far, all things pretty standard. You think any players, any one of them is going to mix it up and throw something new into the bowl?
I believe that, I mean, NjaL is going for double Hellion production, as we have seen in the both games previously. So, I believe that these players will play their best, and that means, if that means their standard, that might be it. But I don't think anyone will throw a wrench in the machine, as it were.
I would like to see some... well, the Hellions is going to come out here, of course. And what I'm wondering is it going to follow it up with the Banshee, or is it going to go into mech?
That is the question. I mean, the factory is going to finish in a matter of seconds, and then we might see if the barracks is going to pop down the tech lab.
No! What? No, he's... What? Oh, that must be a mistake.
Yeah,
it was.
I mean,
so he's going straight into another command center here.
Yeah, and this could just be something like a stim timing, or a combat shield timing. You, as a Terran player, should be aware. I am not a Terran player, so I'm not as schooled in the art and the build orders that Terran are using. But this looks like something gotten out of a book. A Marauder Hellion.
Marauder Hellion is quite
this
strong
is typically
against Zerg.
This is typically a version of an all-in. Marauder Hellion is extremely good against Lings and Roaches. Yeah. But, I mean, you need Banelings, you need Creep Spread to counter this all-in, but this is an all-in. This has a third CC behind it, so...
Yeah, and he has two engineering base coming, so he's playing bio, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to follow his... Oh, and he stopped Hellion production pretty early, just to favor that early tank production, and this is quite smart from him, I believe.
So... I'm very curious to see where this is going, actually. He's going to scout out the early third from FuBaR, and run away from the Queen, of course.
Yeah, the Queen having that extra range is really, really deadly at this point of the game. And we see FuBaR protecting his third base, and he's gotten the double Evo chamber early as well. And I hope...
adding on more barracks.
Yeah, I just hope that FuBaR is going to use his double Evo chamber this game as much as NjaL is going to use his double engineering bay.
Okay, I think NjaL is gonna try to hit a timing with +1/+1 and stim at the same time. Foregoing the medivacs though.
Yeah.
In favor of a third base behind that.
We actually don't have the starport anywhere on the map or in production. So I believe you could be quite correct. He is following up the engineering bay with an armory, so he is going directly into 2-2, I believe. And I mean, as of now, he's just getting his macro set up, poking with the Hellions, trying to keep the creep spread back, and he's playing this out really good and really standard.
Yeah, on FuBaR's side, because he has his lair finish, but he's not building a Spire design.
Yeah, I mean, he is currently just building banelings and links and focusing on drone production, and there is the Spire in the natural of the in the back of the minerals in the natural. I'm sorry for my English. And we see him taking the gases on his third, which is really important. When you want to go mutas, you want a lot of gas. And I mean, everything looks quite as it were the last two games.
Yeah. NjaL does not seem to be moving out very soon. He's adding on the startup right now.
We actually see NjaL just taking his third, taking his time.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I were him, I wouldn't just metagame. I would scan somewhere and try to locate the tech. I don't know.
He has not seen any tech at all. He has seen the spawning pool and that's it.
Yeah, and he haven't seen the lair either.
No, he has not.
Oh, and look at that FuBaR being so clever with his overlords covering the Spire, and this is so underused. I mean, this is something that every player should use, because if you scan and just take a quick glance, you're not going to see that Spire.
You're just going to see those overlords pooping creep everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't necessarily have to drench your Spire, but that is what he's doing, and it works.
So, Mutaling Bling again, it would seem.
Yeah.
Seeing the lack of a Roche Warren. On NjaL's side, we see the upgrades going strong. His Stim is finished, 1-1 is finished. So he has Conk, Shield, and 2-2 going.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hard Bioball to stop, I feel.
Everything looks quite standard. He is now starting his medevac production, and this is essential for any bio army that you have your medevacs ready and prepared to help out with stimming. I mean, when you stim, you lose a lot of hit points. If you have a sufficient amount of medevacs, you can just stim how much you want and just attack however.
The first Mutalisk of FuBaR is ready and moving down the right side into NjaL's main at this point. There's not very many of them, though.
Yeah, I believe they're going to meet up here above the main of NjaL and try to go in numbers and try to pick off either reactors or
let's see, he's going
SCs.
straight for the SV line. He's not killed anything yet, but they are starting to fall. 2, 3, where are they? Well, NjaL is moving in with some Marines to shoot us away.
And with Stim, he's going to forward this very easily.
So, 3 SVs so far.
But he has forced a lot of moving time instead of mining time.
Absolutely.
Oh, and he's taking up a shot at the workers, but I don't believe he actually got any in that last time.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, and he's going directly into the natural, and this is huge for him.
Okay, this is starting to add up, actually, for FuBaR. He's not taking too much damage on his Mutalisk, and he's killed 10 workers so far.
Yeah, I actually got 5 more in that natural.
Nice move from NjaL, moving those Marines in there ahead of time.
And those Marines were just made out of gold there. They took out so many mutas, and it just became efficient enough for NjaL to lose those
I feel FuBaR
SVs.
is committing a bit too much time to these mutas. He's stacking up a lot of bank and a lot of larva at home that he's not using.
Yeah,
but he is preparing a big hit with the Lings and Blinks and the Mutalisks.
Yeah, and I do believe that these banelings actually have the baneling speed research,
they have.
and yes, they do.
And they're rolling in against a third of NjaL, and he's not seen. Now he sees it, and his army is way out of position.
Yeah, and his army is nowhere to be found.
All those banelings going in and taking out the third. Oh, they brought it down to like 2 hit points. The Lings finish it off. So, NjaL is down to
so
2
close
bases.
with those baneling landmines to take out the SCVs, and that was really good for him, but he wasted a lot of banelings on top of that.
Very many banelings.
CC.
And those are not free.
No, they aren't. A baneling cost, for those who don't know, the cost of 1 Zergling, which is 25 minerals, plus 50 plus... No, plus 25 plus 25. So a baneling cost is... No, a baneling cost 50 minerals and 25 gas. And that was quite a lot of banelings. So, I mean, it is an investment to go for such an attack, but I believe that it wasn't a worthwhile investment. And now we see NjaL pushing across the map.
He's
with
2-2 is done. And he's out for revenge.
With no banelings on this side of the map, and here we go.
Well, some banelings, and he got... Well, they didn't get any hits at all. There was too much firepower from NjaL, that it didn't reach the Marines before they exploded. He's trying to build more, but the Bio is right upon it. He's going to be able to take it out right away. He's supposed to take creep tumors. And FuBaR is running away right now. He can't fight this. He can't do anything anymore. Nice flank to the Marines, Blisks, but nothing. No, stop it. It looks very grim for FuBaR at this moment. Second falls.
I believe this is actually the end of FuBaR if he can't muster up any more banelings or anything.
Well, it's like 5, 10, 11 point. Well, it's not going to be enough. If he takes the baneling hits on the Marauders, he's going to win anyway.
Yeah, and this is spelling out the end for FuBaR in this tournament. And NjaL is looking so strong, and he was so confident before this match. And if we take a look at the banelings, they are hitting Siege Tank, they are hitting Marauders, they are not hitting what they need, and that is the Marines.
Everything he can. At this point, there's 16 links. He doesn't want to lose this.
100 supply difference from FuBaR and NjaL at this moment, and I believe we are going to see the GG any second now.
I will believe so. Well, what do you say? I feel, again, Upgrades won this game.
Yeah, I mean, he had this nice timing out with the 2-2 and the combat shield, and it was a golden play from him. And this is how you play Terran.
FuBaR is picking up reinforcements in the meantime, but that will only help him for a little while. But still, his links are 0-0, and those 2-2 Marines are just ripping through him.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a really nice baneling landmine.
That was a lot of Marines that went up in green smoke.
Yeah, but we can't forget that the supply spells out the name of the game.
Yeah, it's not enough, but it was nice. It was really nice to see.
It's a really nice showmanship to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the second to last base from FuBaR.
Yeah, and it's down to 4 harvesters.
8 supply.
And the Bio is dancing. The Bio is dancing.
Yeah.
They didn't keep the beat though. GG from FuBaR. And with that, we have secured the third place in the semifinals. It is another Terran, and therefore we have only 1 Zerg remaining.
Yeah,
versus 3 Terrans. So
yeah. Congratulations to NjaL. He played so excellently in this quarterfinal, and he is so deserving to get on to the semifinals. And in the semifinals, he's going to face off of either Prop Dash or Millennium's Madlisk.
Yes.
But I mean, getting to the semifinals, that's such a huge achievement.
Yeah.
And he's playing so good. Yeah. He looked a little bit frightened yesterday, and before this match, he looked a little bit uneasy. Yeah. He's seen FuBaR play. FuBaR is a really stable Zerg, so I can understand him.
He was very good at FuBaR.
Yeah, I mean, when FuBaR has an advantage, he used that advantage to his maximum potential, and we saw that in game number 2. Yeah, and I mean, that looks excellent. Yeah. And there was nothing that NjaL could have done, but I don't know if NjaL could have done anything better in the game number 1 or game number 3. He just took the Muta damage, and he just killed him.
Yeah, he just killed it. Bioball 3-3.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice. But don't take our word for it. Let's go to Ina and the winner and hear it from himself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I have to say, it's wonderful to see you win, because you're really enthusiastic. I could see you when you won the first game in the booth. You were like, yeah.
I think he overcommitted to Muta a little bit the first game, so that when you make a lot of Mutas, the switch is very expensive to do, and you get very late 3-3 on your Zerglings. So.
And you seem to have quite a supportive crowd here. Are you a lot of friends? What would it mean to you to win this?
It would mean it would mean like a lot, because this is the first thing that I do, and I think this is really funny, really nice.
Yeah, I think about the game yesterday and the first game today. You were like really the king of comeback. Are you? Because you felt like FuBaR had the control of the map, and you just turned that around again.
Yeah, that's what I do. I told you before the game, I like pretend to lose, and then I just win it.
It's all
that's
for show.
That's what I do. Yeah, it's all for show, just to keep you on edge.
You have been playing StarCraft for a long time, am I right?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going pro for real? Because I know you're very enthusiastic about the game.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I think that I'm going to at least continue with my school first, you know.
You are at Södertörn, right?
Yes.
So you're the only player from that school. What do you study there?
Economics.
I saw you did a little dance in his base before you went. That's kind of a little BM, isn't it?
No, is it really that BM?
Oh, fine.
Well,
it was
he's
fun.
BM. He blew up my Nexus with Banelings, so I was like, shit. I didn't even see Banelings in the crowd. I thought it was just Zerglings, and then all of a sudden it blew up. I was like, oh no, shit, I lost. But I won, somehow.
It turned out fine anyway. So you're either going to face Madalisk or Dash. Who would you rather play?
I hope that I meet Madalisk, because I am feeling sort of confident in my TVC. Also, I would like to thank my practice partner, Moose Heed, for helping me practice my TVC.
Great. Nice. Congratulations again for winning this and making it to the semifinals. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with the last matchup for the quarterfinals.